Hey guys, welcome to the Gig Economy Podcast B-side.
The B-side.
The B-side. Hope everyone's having a great night. My name is Jason. This is Jesper. And we have Jamie from I know she's from Tennessee, but I don't know the city. Jamie, what's the city?
Clarksville.
Clarksville. How close to Nashville are you?
It's about 45-minute drive.
Okay, cool. Because Larry is in Bowling Green, and he's about an hour from Nashville.
Probably about an hour.
Right.
Yeah, you guys are probably pretty close then.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Do you have a special rate just like them?
No, but I don't do RideShare right now, so it's
that's
mostly just delivery and Instacart.
Nice.
Yeah.
So as you know, on the B side, we interview a gig creator or a gig worker, and we just try to get a little information about different parts of the country. Jamie came to us. I don't know. I can't remember. She's found the show somehow.
It's not that long ago, I feel like.
Within the last year.
No.
Yeah.
I've been listening for a while, communicating for a few months.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you coming out of your shell and communicating with us because I know we got a lot of listeners, but a lot of people are lurkers. Podcasting is a really unique platform because people are it's intimate, and sometimes a lot of times people never reach out, so it's cool that you did that. So we're going to talk to Jamie and we're going to figure out what she does. And so Jamie, how did you get into gig work? What brought you into the gig world?
I was early on. I started in 2015.
Oh,
and yeah, I became a single mother, and I needed something to be able to do, and coinciding with raising my kids. So I started with Uber, and then I was stubborn and finally went to Lyft as well. And then that's when I decided. I was probably 3 or 4 months in, and I was like, okay, I gotta try this food stuff. And it was very small, and it wasn't even a big thing at all. So yeah, that's how I got started.
So you jumped into food. So if you started in 15, I don't think I started RideShare till 16. I mean, what was there? There was just Grubhub, maybe?
Postmates.
Postmates. Oh, that's right.
Look at that.
Oh no, look at that.
That was accidental.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
that's
I
amazing.
just happened to be wearing it. But Postmates, and that was my first and main one. I started DoorDash when onboarding took place in a dude's garage, like this.
Wow.
Yeah. So I went to this guy's house, onboarded, gave me a big old pizza bag thing, and they tracked everything in his house, like where you were, where the orders went. It was so new. That's what it was like.
I got to ask you, when you jumped on Lyft, did you have a Lyft mentor?
I did.
Yeah.
But I don't really remember how all that was. We had like a building that we went to in LA, because I started all of my stuff in Los Angeles and Orange County.
I was going to say, what markets have you been in? So primarily LA, and then
primarily
Tennessee.
LA, Orange County, and then here. Yeah. Nashville.
Oh, okay. So that's cool. So since you started back then with Lyft, did you also have one of the big pink mustaches?
I did. I still do. Actually, I gave it to my daughter, and she still has it.
Oh, wow.
I don't have one of the big ones that was on the grill. I never was able to get one of those. I just had it was like a little stuffed animal one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
So going back to the Lyft mentor thing, I was one of the first drivers in Grand Rapids for Lyft. And so we went to a hotel or whatever and did the onboarding, and then I became a mentor. And like I made like $25, I think it was, per person. So I picked this gas station in my area, and I lined everyone up, and like, here we go. And I did like 10 of them in a day, and it was just like I pretty much approved everyone except like one guy. The car was just a shit box, but back then Lyft was really strict, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was really cool. And then all of a sudden they got rid of the mentor program. So I figured if you were an early adopter, you probably did that.
I do remember that now. Now that you said that's how you did it, it was a
Yeah.
O'Reilly's, a auto parts store I had to
O
meet somebody at. That's what it was.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they gave us the full schedule to or the full control to, like, schedule our own. I don't even know how we got the leads, honestly. Anyways, but cool. So
Funny.
you started in LA,
Mhm.
and then 3 months you were into food delivery, and then, what did you just quit rideshare after that because you just hated people like
N
me?
No, I hate people like you, but I don't hate people like you, I hate people as well.
I got you. I knew what you meant.
I
But,
did too.
no, I did rideshare for a long time. I've got, I don't know, 15,000 rides under my belt, but
Holy cow.
yeah, but I
Mm.
stopped doing it mostly because of incidents. We'll get into that, I'm sure, in a little bit,
Yeah,
but yeah, mostly because of that. But I'm thinking about getting back in, maybe just do some like daytime or airport or
Yeah.
something.
okay.
So what is your primary gig right now?
Right now, primary is GoPuff.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, it is. Like I do the best on GoPuff. And I don't know, I'm sure it's just like everything else market to market, and I don't think you have it yet.
Oh,
Maybe?
man, they've been blue balling us for 3 years. They keep like, before the pandemic, they were gonna do it, then pandemic happened, they stopped, and then it's live, like, it says the warehouse, I know where it is, I have an account,
Mhm.
but, like, I can't it's not live here, so I don't know.
Look, I don't know. It it is sit and wait, which, like Gabe hates sitting and waiting,
Yeah,
But but then once you go on a delivery or on a run, it's like you might get 2 or 3, but the people tip on there. And that's, as you know, that's where our money is.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, even when it's slow, I do okay. But then I get to go back to the warehouse. I don't have to go sit in a parking lot somewhere, figure out what am I gonna do?
Oh, so you kinda know, yeah, you d it's not that uncertainty of, like, when am I gonna get my next order? Where do I have to go? No, I know where to go, I just go back to the warehouse.
Yeah, and then there's like a line of people and you just wait your turn, and it's busy enough. But other than that, I do Spark. I Spark is good in my market, and of course DoorDash, Uber, Grubhub,
Okay.
So,
mostly.
have you done your taxes this year?
Yes,
What was your biggest app for 2022? Was
DoorDash,
it DoorDash?
DoorDash. Yeah, but I didn't work a lot. Okay, so for the last few years, I haven't worked like a ton.
Okay.
Pandemic, I was in California for that for the most part. Everything was shut down, which would have made me good money,
Yeah,
but I don't know. I was one of those people that didn't want to go out.
that's
Plus,
fair.
I homeschooled my daughter during that time too. So
Okay. So you're fresh into Tennessee then. I mean fresh in quotes.
back, I
Oh,
moved here originally in 2005, and
okay.
then I was in California for about 7 years and came back. So
Okay.
I've been here.
Okay.
I've been a lot of places.
You're like reflecting on it like,
Yeah,
"Mhm. I've
yeah,
traveled the world. I'm a world
pretty
traveler."
pretty much. I lived in New York for a couple of years. I couldn't imagine doing this in New York. God bless the people who
No,
do.
no.
I know. That's nuts.
That's
Like, how
crazy.
do you even move in the city? Like, now, granted, I've never been there, so maybe there's a lot more suburbs that I don't know about that you could do work, but when I think of New York City, I'm thinking, like, right.
Manhattan.
Yeah, the Manhattan, the
Yep, yep.
craziness, like, all that.
I'd be on a bird scooting. That's what
Oh,
I'd be
yeah.
doing.
Yeah, or electric bike or something.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's pretty cool. So obviously, now you're full time. This is all you do, right?
It is
About
the
how many
only thing I do.
about how many hours a week do you work?
Probably anywhere between 40 and 70.
Oh,
Okay.
sweet
But I
Jesus.
figure that's
Wow.
pretty normal, right? For if you're
Yeah,
doing
yeah, I
this.
mean, if you're doing it full time.
Mhm.
Yep.
I mean, my
Yeah.
goal is to work as least amount of hours as possible. I mean, I like to work, but like once I hit my money, I don't want to spend more time. Like Jesper's addicted to
Mhm.
the adrenaline when he's, you know, driving drunks around, you know what I mean? But like for me, I'm like, no, I hit my money. I'm like, I want to go home and go to bed.
I don't know. That's when it kicks in for me. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
made my money. I could make double.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. When I first was doing Uber and Lyft, I would sleep in my car for 2, 3 days and just work. I
Wow.
mean, like full on. I would go up to Coachella or Stagecoach when that was going on in the desert. I'd
Yeah.
just drive up there and sleep in the parking lot in the daytime and go kill it at night, like
W-
day for the whole time, 3 days.
Was that
Hmm.
before they had the limit of 12 hours or whatever you could work, because for a long time they didn't have that.
Yeah, they didn't have it for a long time, and then but even when they did, I could switch over. So
That's
it's like,
true.
okay, Uber would be like, "You're done." Like, "Okay, there goes Lyft, then I'm
Yeah.
going on Lyft."
How was the money in LA? Was it really good for rideshare? Like I mean, if you started early, you must have been making bank.
Back in the day, like when I very first started, it was $1.60 a mile. So, and I don't $1.60 a mile, and then it wasn't too much after that, it went to, like, 90 cents. And I
Oh,
was
wow.
like, "Oh, ouch."
Yeah.
So, you go from making really good money to just
And that was for an
but
X. That was
what's
for
that?
X. That was for X.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
bet.
I think is that all we had then? I don't know if that's
I
all
think
we
there was
had.
XL and X. I remember coming on in 16 that right away I had a minivan like Jesper, and I was the dad van. I fucking love that car though. Like as much as I give Jesper a hard time for rideshare, it's dope with the automatic doors and shit. Like
Yeah.
Jesper's riders love him with that van.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's the perfect vehicle to do this.
Yeah, it is. Other than like a big ass fucking 15 passenger van, you know what
Striker.
I mean? Yeah. Yeah. I Can you even do Uber with one of those?
I don't
Like
know.
could you consider yourself an XL with one? Because it has to have
An XL.
well, it
It
has
had
to
to
have
be
four,
something bigger than that.
well, it would have to be four doors, right? So you have the front
Right.
doors. So then
Mm.
if you had a door on each side, that technically would be four doors.
But they do, yeah, they do. I
Yeah.
mean, why wouldn't you be able? I suppose you could.
I think a lot of those transport vans don't have doors on both sides, though. They have just the
Oh.
Right.
one side. But anyways, fuck it. You'd be like, yeah, everyone would know if you got
Mm.
Jason in the transport van, you could get 15 in there. Let's go.
Hey, I had a Prius and people thought they could put 15 in
Oh,
there anyway, so
yeah.
yeah.
Trust me, I've had people wanting to put 8 people in my little Master 3 hatchback. It's like, no, you're not putting 8 people in this car. And then they got
They
mad, of
will do
course.
it
Yeah.
every time with their solo cups.
Oh, yeah. I've gotten so more lax. If I don't know if you listened all the way back from the show, like when you started, but early on in this show, probably up to maybe, I don't know, probably episode 100. If you listen before that, I was like, before the pandemic, I was so strict on booze and everything. And now I'm like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I mean, I'm not going to
Yeah.
encourage it. And if I see them bring it in, I'm gonna like, bro, like, come on. But if I
Yeah.
see, if I'm driving, I look in my mirror and I see it, I'm just like, whatever. I don't give a shit anymore. Just like, don't be a dick and let's just go.
Don't leave it
Yeah.
in your car, right?
Don't leave it
Don't
in my
leave it in the
car.
car.
I'm gonna park on Monroe Street in front of the Bob. You can tell me I'm a dick. I don't care. I'm not making these drunk people cross the street anymore. I'm just not doing it.
Mhm.
I'm not doing it.
I think that has changed, though. I have not seen a single cop stop them in front of the Bob since.
I just think the traffic is so much lower there because
Yeah.
they've taken away the dance club that they don't have an issue anymore.
Oh,
And maybe
absolutely.
and maybe that's why they did it. Well, not just for Uber driving, but they were
Yep.
having so many people get drunk and just get hurt and in fights and shit. They're like, you know what? Fuck
They didn't want the trouble.
that. Mhm.
And so now I actually, well, I can talk about that next week. Anyways, so so Jamie, since you've been in such a large market as LA, this is
Mhm.
something that I've been kind of looking forward to hearing from you. We always go what's your best and what's your worst story. So what is your best story?
Best story does go back to Coachella, though. I picked up these people randomly just outside the gate, and they're like, "Hey, hey, you got to get us to this party. You know, it's going to be kind of hard to get in. It's it's a celebrity, so you know, and I'm like, oh, whatever, okay. Not a big like starstruck kind of person, but I'm like, okay. So we get to this gated community, and they have to tell the security a passcode to get in.
Oh,
So they
wow.
get the passcode correct. We get inside the gates, and now we have to get past the people like at the mansion where they're having this party. So we get up to the front, and the guy comes, another security guard comes out, says, okay, you have the passcode. And the guy's like, yeah, it's this or whatever. He says, yeah, it's correct, but we don't like the way you look. So, and I'm like, well, I'm the Uber driver, so I'm dropping, like, you know, unless they have somewhere to go. Guy's like, no, they can't come in. You can come in.
Oh.
You can come in. I'm like, well, whose party is this? And it was the Weeknd. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't go, but but
Oh,
it was
so wait,
cool. It
so
was
they
fun.
didn't want your passengers to come in, but they want.
No,
All right, I
they were
would
like,
take.
yeah, and I'm like, yeah,
Drop the passengers and you go.
I'd be like, this is
yeah.
the end of the rope, boys. I'm gonna lock this bitch up and I'm gonna go party. So good luck.
It was funny. I was debating it, but I think that was like day 3 of being in Coachella with all the desert in my car and all the stinky people. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not going in there.
So here's a true boomer question. I'm not a boomer, but when I ask these questions, I feel old. What the fuck is Coachella? I've heard of it, but I don't know. Like, is it just some big music or is it like EDM or whatever?
I think, well, no, I mean, they've got all kinds of people that go there. When it first started, it was like alternative type bands,
Okay.
like bands I was into at the
Yeah.
time, you know, like Oasis
Oh.
and Blur and like just those kinds. And then like one year it was Guns N' Roses was headlining. You know, I
What?
mean, like, yeah, it's just, but there's a lot of EDM, there's a lot of
Okay.
party type, you know, stuff
Yeah.
going on there. But it's huge. You know,
Okay.
that is Woodstock of today, I guess you could say, right?
Okay. So it's not like a Burning Man. It's actually a festival with music and like not just
Right.
everyone like
Yeah.
having this weird like
But
psychedelic trip.
but size-wise,
Both.
though, it's about the same size as Burning Man, right? It's pretty big.
I don't know. I've never been to Burning Man, but
Okay.
You don't seem the Burning Man type, Jamie.
do I not?
I mean, I don't know.
How
You
many
never know.
days is Coachella?
I think it's 4. No, it's 2. I think it's 2, but people go for like 4 or 5 or a week because it's in the Palm Springs area.
Okay.
And like a lot of Airbnbs, and people just go and get toasted all week, you know.
Oh, it's
Have a
so
good old
this
time.
year it's 2 weekends, April 14 and 16 and April 21 and 23. So they probably just camp out like all week somewhere, right? So they can go to both weekends.
Yeah, some people do, but
Okay.
then they also have Stagecoach, which is in the same place, but it's like a country music thing. But
Oh.
like it's huge, like you know, celebrities go, that kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's good
Very
money.
cool.
I wonder how much a ticket for this is. Probably pretty much, huh? Probably a lot.
Probably, yeah, probably a lot. I don't really go. I work them. I wanna make my money and just, you know,
Right.
I'm too old for
Yeah.
that. I feel like now.
Okay. Oh, they have a payment plan, so you know this shit's
Sweet.
expensive.
So what about the worst story, Jamie?
Worst story is probably, and you guys have probably heard this because I've probably told it before, but I picked up a guy by himself, no friends, end of the night bar scene, you know, Newport Beach, and I'm taking him home. And the way that you have to go home to his home is you take a toll road. Now, this toll road at that time of night is completely desolate. There's just nothing going on and it's dark. And this guy is chatting me up fine, like a normal passenger. And then we're on the toll road and he starts like putting his arm around my seat and kind of groping and being inappropriate. And I'm just taking my arm and kind of hitting him off of me like this. And
Yeah.
at one point, he grabs my arm, pulls it all the way back behind my head. And I'm like, I drove a stick shift at the time. I'm like, like, and it hurt. But so I can't like pull off to the side and like kick this guy out because of where I am. And I
Yeah.
notice on the map that like his place that I'm dropping him is just right off the freeway, off this toll road. So we get up there, get up to the apartment. It's a big old apartment complex. And, I'm telling him, like, okay, you got to get out. And he's like, no, I don't want to get out. And I'm like, now I'm like having to get out the like fake scary girl, get the fuck out of my car, like he's like not buying it. But I tell him I'm gonna call the police because that's all I can do at this
Yeah.
point. I'm gonna call the police. So he's like, oh, he gets out of the car and he's out for like 5 seconds and opens the door and gets back in the car. And I'm like, oh shit, like I thought I got rid of this guy. And he sits there. I'm like, okay, I'm calling the police now. I get my phone, and then he's like, no, I'm good. And he gets out of the car. I'm like, what the? So I drive down to the gas station that's right down the street, call the police, and I'm like, what is that smell? When he got back in the car, he like unloaded his entire bladder all in the back seat, like to boot, just he just wasn't a jerk enough, So that was
Oh.
probably the worst one. And that was what prompted me to kind of stop doing rides, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how that when someone pisses in the back seat. And did you have leather seats or were they cloth?
No, they were cloth. Yeah.
Oh fuck!
It was terrible. That smell never came out.
I was like, did you just scrap the car and burn it? Like, oh my god, that's terrible. That's terrible. Did you at least be able to collect your feet?
Yeah. Yeah, I did get the cleaning fee, but I mean, I didn't really care about that as much as I cared. I really wanted him to like get in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, at least not be on the platform to be able to do that. But of course, it was and you guys have talked about this before. There's safety against us, or not against, but for them. And then that safety for us is just kind of a joke because, this guy had like a fake name. Who knows whose credit card he used? And then like he went into this big apartment and they didn't have his address. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Not much
Too
you can
bad.
do in that. Yeah. Not much you can do in that situation.
Yeah, at some point, it's like you wish these people would get like actual in trouble with that. Now, I wonder, you probably didn't have a dash cam at the time, but I often wonder if you did have that to even circumvent Uber and just be like, hey, I was an Uber driver, go to the local police department and say, here's my dash cam, here's the information I have. And if they say, yeah, we want to pursue this, then they're like, all right, let's get Uber involved. You know what I mean? At least you have some video to maybe they can go on and do that. But like, yeah, I mean, when someone does that, it's like a bodily harm kind of thing. Like it's more of an assault. Like, I mean, yeah, he didn't pee on you, but like you could say it splashed on you or something.
But
I mean, he was assaulting me. He grabbing my arm and, groping me. And, he actually did.
That's true. I forgot about that, but damn it, why didn't you have a dash cam? He's probably fucked with a bunch of other people since then. That's the thing. I always like, no, fuck this guy, like, or fuck this girl. Like, I'm gonna try to press charges if it gets that bad, because what if they do it to somebody else and it could be worse or make them feel uncomfortable or yada yada yada. So
well, yeah, I mean, when I was doing the bar scene, I'm the last girl that they see, for the night. So like if they struck out all night, that's kind of how I felt, was like, oh, well, we got,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can see that. So a couple of things that as we're kind of wrapping up a little bit, we always ask for like tips. Like, we have the standard tips that that Jesper and I recommend, like, dash cams and throw up bags and stuff. It doesn't matter if you don't have anything unique, but if you do, we'd love to hear it. Or what do you feel like out of the dash cam, the throw up bags, whatever, even like for food delivery, what would you say that would be your best tip for any kind of the apps out there?
Well, if you're doing rideshare, this is one thing I always tell people. I don't care who you are. If you're in a bad situation, I think, I don't know how many of us, I've had 2 fights in the back seat of my car, fist fights. I've had, I've like the story I just told, and I've had other ones that weren't as bad, but we've all had these. And it's always a matter of like, well, if I hit the help button, like they'll see it, if I do this, if the person won't get out of the car. I I was like, if you can drive to a police station to be safe. Also, a hospital. That was something that like I realized one day. I was like, I'm not new. I could, go up to the ER wherever there's people in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
so that you have your safety and you have somewhere you could reach out to if you're in trouble. That's one thing. The other thing is echoing what Larry had said on his B side, which was always, and you guys always say too, is having so many to diversify all the gig apps that you have, because it keeps me sane. Like burnout is real, burnout is
Yeah.
real. And if you're doing one thing all of the time, I mean, I can go a couple weeks without wanting to get out of bed and go to work,
Yeah.
but if I can go shopping, grocery shopping on Instacart, get sick of that, and I can go do some Spark or go do, if I want to do RideShare again, just diversifying is huge to keep you going and keeping your wallet fat, really.
I know Jesper talks about like, oh, I don't like doing food delivery and what yada yada. But I think if he was doing rideshare full time,
Oh yeah.
he'd be like, fuck this. Like, I need a break or something. Like, and that's what I like. I like changing it up even with food delivery for a while over grocery delivery, because like, the food delivery is a little bit of walking and grocery shopping is a lot more walking. So it's like you can be like, how much exercise do I want today? Do I want to hit my 10,000 steps, or do I want to be lazy? And so
Right.
I think that's a great tip to diversify. And then obvious, for the obvious reason too, if you get deactivated on one of the platforms, because I mean, knock on wood, I haven't yet, but there will be a time that one of them, decides to deactivate me, and I have to be able to bounce back and do other things.
I was there. Um, but I mean, I think if I was doing it full time, as we all know, Jason, I hate daytime driving.
It's
it's just
tough.
not for me. And so if I had to do full time gig work, I would be doing, curry or delivery or flex or something during the
Hmm.
week. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really interesting when I do my taxes, what changes for me. Like last year, I was like at about almost 8 grand on Walmart, but then everything else is like a grand, 1,500. But like the year before, it was like 8 grand on Flex, Amazon Flex. And then Walmart was new. So I was hoping this year there would be a new app that I could, because a lot of times, especially like when Walmart came here, all the bonuses that we got and stuff like that. So I was hoping GoPuff would be here, and I'm sure they would just pile on the bonuses and the perks and stuff. But I haven't done anything new this year. I'm kind of getting bored. I'm ready for a new app.
Yeah,
Well,
GoPuff is awesome. It took a while because they have to saturate their neighborhoods, let
Yes.
them know that they exist. But after that, I mean, so far they haven't cut our pay too terribly. They have, but not too terribly.
So are you going back to GoPuff? Are you straight like hourly plus tips, or can you explain to people that don't know what GoPuff, or well, GoPuff is basically a convenience store that you can get delivered to. So it's like
Mhm.
a Walgreens or a 7-Eleven on crack. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like you name it, condoms, sex toys, monsters,
Mhm.
ice cream, chips, whatever you want, you can get it. So how do you get paid?
So there's two ways they schedule like once a week, just like
Okay.
Grubhub or Grubhub, scheduling once a week, and then if you get on schedule, then you get paid wait time for any time you're waiting there in their parking lot, and then plus your base pay each trip. And they've changed that. It used to be like a solid number. Each warehouse had a specific base pay for each ride, but now they've changed it to some distance algorithm that screws us, of course, but yeah. So
Like,
it's true.
that,
yeah, go ahead.
But then, so if you get scheduled, cool, you get the wait pay plus pay and tips. But if you can just show up and do on demand and just
Okay.
hit go on demand. Now you're just getting paid base pay and tips, no wait time. Either
Okay.
way, you make money. So
Yeah. Personally, I hate the scheduling. Like, I never schedule on DoorDash. Even if they gave me the opportunity, I wouldn't do it because I like the flexibility of just being like, okay. Now, granted, if you try to sign on at 10 o'clock on a what day is it today? Wednesday, like I did, I wasn't able to sign on because it wasn't busy. But what I do is I just run another app like Uber Eats. You can sign on anytime you want. And then I wait for the DoorDash light to light up red that gets busy, and I quick sign on and boom, boom. So I rarely have to wait more than 15 or 20 minutes, but I
Yeah.
would never sign up for a route. I don't need any more bosses in my life.
Yeah, and they do ding you too. Like if you're supposed to be there. I never do the shifts really because the first shift is like 7 a.m. I drop my daughter off at school at almost
Yeah.
8, so I can't even get there until 9. So it doesn't
Right.
work for me. But if I were to and then I am late, you get dinged and they're like, well, you can't schedule anyway. So it's like,
Oh,
okay, cool.
interesting.
And they're
Cool.
getting Uber Eats drivers to do like when they're busy and they can't get anybody to work, they just
Yeah.
get Uber Eats drivers to pick up the food anyway. So
Oh,
it's
really? So they're like
yeah.
throwing it on, they're like requesting. Oh my gosh, that's interesting.
Yep. Third
I wonder
party now.
I wonder if there's any there's probably no tip on it either, right? Like why would GoPuff like tip a Uber Eats driver?
I don't I've thought about that too, but the people that work there don't have the control over it. It's like
Yeah.
customer service or whatever that does it. So,
Oh, okay, got you. Got you.
but I wonder too.
Interesting.
Sometimes I want to turn my app on just to see like
Yeah,
what
just to get a
happens.
request and see if it's like $2 or $2.50 or something like that.
That'd be pretty crappy because they do tip good actually.
Right. Yes, Bernie, closing thoughts for Jamie?
I think that's probably about. I mean, we talked about good tips. Any like one thing for people to avoid, real fast.
One thing for
Coachella.
people to avoid. I go make your money. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you avoid? Avoid burnout, man. That is
Yeah.
my
Oh,
biggest
there you
thing.
go. That's a good one. Avoid burnout.
Get your
I
rest.
like it.
Yeah, get your rest, avoid burnout. That's actually a good idea. That's a tip and something to avoid is the burnout for sure. So
Yep.
well,
So,
guys, thank you so much for listening to the Gig Economy Podcast, the B-side with Jamie from Tennessee. We appreciate Jamie so much, and we appreciate you as a listener. Catch us next week, Wednesday, for our regularly scheduled program at 8 p.m., and we'll talk about the news that I don't know if Jamie knows, but Uber shut down in Michigan for 24 hours because they don't know how to fucking run their app. So
it's back now. It's back now.
it's back now, but it was like almost 24 hours.
Was it 24 hours? Wow.
Yes, it was. And
Wow.
Oh,
yeah,
dang. Another reason to
idiots.
diversify.
Yep. Yeah. People, before I sign off, people were freaking the fuck out. Like there was messages on like basically my Facebook is just gig groups. You know what I mean? And all the Michigan ones, like, I can't drive. What am I going to do? I'm like, there's 17 other apps. Why aren't you doing something else? Just say, whoops, Uber, screwed the pooch today. I'm going to DoorDash or I'm going to Lyft or whatever. But
Right.
anyways, so
And again, remember, guys, if you want to talk to us or Jamie, come see us in the terminal. In the terminal. Oh my gosh! In the chat group on what is the name of the app, Jason?
Telegram. Yep.
See us in the Telegram app. Thank you so much.
And as always, guys, don't put up with anyone's bullshit.
And we'll see you on the road.
Good night.